But my idea is I'm coming out with a series on love, and I'm basically a spiritual life coach.
I read a lot about it.
As informal an event as can be possible. So thank you for being patient and waiting for the people who came a little late. I will give and extend a warm welcome to all of you, a loveful welcome to all of you on behalf of Renee Singh to the book launch of her latest poetry book, Beyond the Stars, published by Rivers Press. We have among us the British Deputy High Commissioner Chandigarh, Caroline Robert, Mr. Rupinder Singh, Mr. Ramesh Vinayak, Nirupama Dutt, and Afan Respi. Can we have a round of applause for our August audience? Thank you so much. We all know Renee Singh as a friend. We know her as a counselor, a therapist, an entrepreneur, a management guru, and a sought-after authority in maximizing human potential. A poet, an author, a columnist, a TV show presenter. She plays many roles. From running a garment export house to organic farming, and so much in between. She has now settled in her true passion of counseling and helping people master themselves. Renee has a PhD in philosophical psychology and has regular columns on stress management, relationship, and parenting issues in leading newspapers like the Tribune, the Times of India, and the Indian Express. She also writes for various magazines in the USA and worked for Doordarshan and CNBC. She has participated in many literary festivals like the Jaipur Literature Festival, the Soli Literature Festival, and festivals in Canada and USA. She's a recipient of many awards nationally and internationally. She delivers lectures, seminars, and workshops on motivation, stress management, and leadership skills. Renee already has 3 poetry books: Sacred Longings, Sacred Karma, and Sacred Desire to her credit. So, she's a multifaceted personality with many feathers in her cap. And today, she adds another one, the latest poetic outing, Beyond the Stars. When Renee asked me, thank you so much. This is Renee for us. When Renee asked me to host the event, I was curious to know what the book was all about. She told me it was a love poetry book. Now, love is not just a word. It subsumes in itself the entire cosmos and makes the world go round. Love is the most basic human emotion and a solution to many of problems, individual or of the world. Our souls hunger for love in all its forms. In Eckhart Tolle's words, to love is to recognize yourself in another. Each one of us experiences and perceives love differently. And right in the beginning, I had asked you to do a little exercise. Those of you who come late, I'll repeat it for you. You all have been provided with a card, and there's a blurb on it. Please fill it up with your idea of love. We'll ask you about it later. So much has been said and written about love throughout millennia. But every time, something new is being said. There is divinity in love, and when you catch the highest vibration, you know it's coming truly from beyond the stars. Let's have a glimpse of the words woven with love by Renee Singh. We have Taj Sharma and Soumya Gilani reading out a few poems from Renee's poetry book, Beyond the Stars.
This supreme sense of satisfaction that my being has found with you. This pleasant sense of being alive. This keen sense of perception. Oh, choice creature, tell me, weren't you born for this? For me? To experience such heavenly bliss.
My life has just begun as I have learned to recognize my own self. All these years of living life and feeling free. What had I done but actually? Yet now I feel the pressure of the world just weighing away. Yes, truly free, because I know you're with me. And in my own way, I am bound. In solemnity, I do resound. Now that I know you're my only destiny.
I yearn to feel your arms around me. It never stops, yet astounds me. This feeling within in which you have bound me. I am a creature of the spaces, of wild and vivid crazy races. In spirit, I can't ever be bound. This seems to be a world profound, where all you think you truly know what they have found. And knowing much, just what they must, don't they ever really learn to trust their inner selves?
This absolutely overwhelming feeling of having you all over me. This incredible sense of losing time and space, having no meaning. The sudden loss of words to find and describe in wondrous ways what I just don't seem to utter right. Now I think I have said over many days, you try and sense me, my love, in your many, very ways. I know you have, this is quite clear, and that is why you are not with me, not far, just here. Although you are just anywhere, I can always feel your care, and this feeling I do carry with me, here, there, everywhere. Your body to the touch is mine, your spirit too is just divine. In every single moment in time, your heart and soul will travel with mine.
Life seems to just have a new meaning of its very own. This is a dream, and now I know I can even tell this in lifetime. Living well is only to have lived for love, and that's what is destined from above.
In all these years, as time stood still, I waited for you, it was His will. And now that you have come to me, He made it so, our destiny. Beyond all space, I want to race. There's still no time for us to face one another in this ubiquitous race. We live beyond this certain sphere. I'm glad we are right now just here.
How easily the mind takes me into spheres of love, of unlimited joy, like hope, caring joy, and sharing, not complaining, from being unfair to just fair. It jolts, it falls, undue values. It takes me on to new paths and to avenues. It carries on always, so unafraid to reach out to a better world.
I thought I would sit in the flow, and then I'd let the wondrous flow of your deep world just invade my inner self and let all the thoughts away of blissful days and blissful nights, of even taking fancy flights beyond the sights, right over the stars, oh tempestuous moon. Only freedom, no golden path. To hinder me, I know for now, discretion, caution thrown to the wind, I fly alone. Who cares who wins?
When you are ready to come to me, just do so. I have waited far too long. Perhaps it's because I am strong. Somewhere deep inside of me, the longing stays.
How difficult it does become when every moment I decide to spend in running along with you and doing just what you will do.
The supreme sense of satisfaction when my being has found with you. The treasured sense of being alive. The keen sense of possession. Oh, just future, tell me, won't you want for this, for me, to experience the generation?
I take your hand and then together move along time's sifting sand. Just side by side, the water splashing on our feet. The sand just rushing to our toes. Just how I feel to live right here without the fear, along with you is no.
Thank you so much for your hands back.
Thank you.
And I would request them to please come onto the stage as well. We have Caroline Rowett, the British Deputy High Commissioner, Chandigarh. She represents the UK in the 4 northern Indian states, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand, and the Union Territory of Chandigarh. Caroline is a career diplomat with over 30 years of experience. Her previous postings include France, Indonesia, the Bahamas, and Haiti. She has worked on a range of portfolios, including human rights, Afghanistan, and the British Overseas Territories. Please put your hands together for Caroline Roberts. Renee, could we have you accompany her and onto the stage too as well? Then we have Renee Singh, an ex-Tiffanian who worked as a journalist in New York for 6 years and later joined the Tribune, from where he retired as a senior associate editor. In his 3 decades there, he wrote extensively, held many charges, and founded the Internet Edition. He's the author of many books like Guru Nanak, His Life and Teachings, Delhi 84, and many more, and has also co-authored many others. An award-winning photographer, he continues to write books and speak at academic and public forums. So, could we have you on stage as well? Do greet him with a big round of applause. He's done a lot of service to us, to Chandigarh, through the Tribune. Thank you so much for that, sir.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
Now we have Ramesh Vinayak, the executive editor of Hindustan Times. Prior to this, he was the associate editor with India Today News magazine and has started his career with the Tribune. He writes extensively on a range of issues and is the recipient of 2 prestigious international media fellows and the World Press Institute Fellowship. He has been honored for his outstanding coverage of the Kargil War and excellence in farm journalism. So, request you to join everyone on the stage as well. Afan Yasmi, He is the founder director of Rivers Publishing Group, which provides a wide platform for publishing podcasts, YouTube channels, and literary artistic campaigns. He is the editor-in-chief of Rivers Beat, a monthly literary magazine. Rivers Press has published Renee Singh's book Beyond the Stars. And recently, Rivers Publishing has been recognized amongst the 10 best publishing platforms 2023 by Silicon India magazine. To complete the panel, we have Nirupama Datnam, a senior journalist with 40 years of experience with leading Indian newspapers and journals. She likes to be known as a poet, a columnist, writer, and translator of many seasons, with several books to her credit. She has been honored with the Punjab Lalit Kala Academy Samman and the Punjabi Academy Award. She will be leading the panel discussion with the author of the day. I would request Renee's mother, please join us on the stage. We have the witness to I request the audience to please give a big round of applause to Renee Singh and the new I'm very sure you all are going to enjoy reading the love poetry that she's come out with. Thank you so much.
It's all about love beyond the stars. So,
I mean, it's such a proud moment for you. Nirupama ma'am, I would request you to lead the discussion.
It's a very happy moment today to be with Renee and her dear ones, see the release of this book, Beyond the Stars. And Renee I consider the high priestess of love, and rightfully so, because this is a subject we never tire of doing it in our lives. Life I don't know, but she never tires about writing about it. She has spent book after book on love. And it is love probably that keeps us going. It keeps us together, and we live with hope. So we celebrate this Kinder devotion with Renee, and of course, she will be having the last word. But because she has invited such brilliant panelists who are here to talk on love, and it's rather interesting. Many of us have talked to one another so much, but never has been sort of kept away. So first of all, I'd like to ask Carolina. It's so wonderful, Caroline, to have you here. And it is, love, it is said, makes life worthwhile. What would you say to it? And what do you feel about love?
Thank you. I feel quite daunted to be here, actually.
well, the first thing is that Caroline's a dear friend. And when I told her, I said, I'm releasing this book on love. I mean, actually, everybody here, sorry to interrupt, but, it's a topic everybody loves it, but everybody kind of just stays quiet about it. So I said, now, this is just my event to express yourself. It's to have fun. So I told Caroline, you're supposed to have fun here. So please don't judge her as the diplomat.
I just say, typical Renee. Just talking straight away over the rest of us.
Terrible.
But absolutely fine. Anyway, I did panic when Renee said, "Oh, Caroline, you've got to talk about love." I was like, no, I'm a diplomat. I'll talk about the bilateral relationship. Absolutely fine. And it's very good at the moment, in case anyone was interested. But love, doesn't feature in any of my objectives or in my work plan or anything. But anyway, I thought about it. So I thought, what do I love? I thought, I love my dogs. I love hot buttered naan. I love my husband. Do I love my dogs more than my husband? We won't answer that question.
Oh my God.
He's not here, so it doesn't matter.
Yes, you can get away with it for the moment.
Anyway, then I turned to Renee's book for inspiration. And so I'll just quote a very short poem from Renee's. I'm not a poet and I'm not an author or anything, so my rendition might not do it justice. But Renee's, in her book, she says, love is a rare emotion, or is it just a crazy notion that fools just fall for? So another question, and I don't have any answers. I'm not here to give out any answers today. But having thought about that, all the things that kept going through my mind were love songs. I thought about Tina Turner's love song, What's Love Got to Do With It? And there are thousands of love songs. And sorry, I only know the British love songs. I mean, I know Urdu, for example, is full of love songs, and India as well. So I started going through love songs in my mind. But don't worry, I'm not going to sing.
Maybe we love to hear you sing.
No, you would not. And then I thought, there's a British film with a song in it called Love Is All Around. And then I thought, well, how do we know that love is all around? We can't see it. We can't feel it. Is it there? And then I thought about the classic film, Love Story. Love means never having to say you're sorry. Well, what does that mean? I mean, I'm British. I say sorry all the time. It's in my blood. I can't help but say sorry. So does that mean I'm always in love? In love with what? I mean, the list of questions just continues, really. And then I thought, I've got to add a quote. Being British, if I'm going to quote things, I've got to quote Shakespeare, who, of course, is famous for his love sonnets. And my favourite line, love is not love which alters when it alteration finds. And I think that is just a classic line and sums up so much. But anyway, having thought about love, I then thought, what's the opposite? And then you've got hate. And I thought, well, hate leads to pain, leads to suffering, to discrimination, to war. You look around the world today, you look and see what hate is doing in Ukraine, what hate is doing in Sudan. That's very clearly not love. And then you look around the world and you have people who live in fear of violence or prison because of their sexual orientation and their gender identity. And we all have a role to play in speaking out against hatred, discrimination and violence. But how often do we stand up and call for love and peace? And perhaps we should do that more often. I think there's more place in the world for that than there is for hatred. And I hope we would all agree that the world would be a better place if we did love more and if there was more understanding and more kindness in the world. And so I think I'm going to finish and sum up with yet one more song title. And now, having quoted Shakespeare, I now have to quote the Beatles.
Wow.
Okay, why not? And saying, all you need is love.
Lovely. Beautiful. So beautiful.
And now I will turn to Rupinder Singh. As Caroline said, that's by her many examples that it is love that makes it life worthwhile. I would like to ask you one of the most famous words by Guru Nanak, Jetao Prem Khetanda Chao, Sir Tar Tali Gali Gali Aao. If you want to play the game of love, Guru Nanak said, put your head on your hand and then come to my street. I would like you to talk about this concept of love and, where the head has to be on your palm.
Yeah. We have this sort of a construct of Guru Nanak which ignores the fact that he was a rebel in a number of ways. He rebelled against a lot of prevalent practices at the time. And if we look at it, the path of love that he advocated, because of universal love, was also something where he wanted everybody to be so involved that they did not care for themselves. You were in love with the divine. You wanted to express yourself by expressing your love for the divine. And in a lot of the imagery that comes across at that time, you look at it as from the feminine gender longing for the lover being God. And then again, it's tough love, because you have to stick to the truth, you have to be steadfast in your resolution, you know that you're going to face a tough time, and yet continue with it, and that is the toughest kind of love. It's not something which you can get moonlight over. You have to be clear-headed and you have to follow the dictates of your heart. The heart that's pure, the soul that's a reflection of the divine soul. That's love beyond the stars, absolutely. That is love beyond the stars.
Rupinder, these words come in times, in Guru Nanak's times, which were very turbulent in the subcontinent. We had one side the Hindu priests who were very, very, bigoted over many things. On the other side, we had Muslim rulers and a constant Hindu-Muslim strife. So these words coming at that time, what was their significance to those times?
The significance of these words at that time was simply reminding people of the essence through which they could transcend the divisiveness of the time, which was being opposed by the clergy. At that time it was the clergy, nowadays you look at it, there are various other forces, but we are being very, very divisive and we forget the unity of mankind. And here it was Guru Nanak trying his best to remind people of the essence and of the fact that you could all get in touch with the divine, be with the divine, reflect His love through your own actions. There was a lot of stress on actions, there was the need to justify yourself in your eyes and tell yourself that what I'm going to do is going to be the correct thing no matter what. That's where the head on the hand comes on. No matter what, I have to do what is right. And that what is right will arise out of love.
Rupinder, these lines came from the first Guru of the Sikhs, yet they were repeated once again by 10th Guru of the Sikhs, Guru Vincent, on Vaisakhi. Would you like to talk about that and the context?
The continuum through all the 10 Gurus. The thought of Nanak 1 going on to Nanak 10 and then being enshrined in Guru Granth Sahib. It is the same message being repeated, stressed. It goes through a long period of time, goes through all kinds of vicissitudes of life that they all face, and stresses on the kernel that Guru Nanak is. And in that context, no matter what, look at Pai Kanhaiya. I'm a person who's given water to the enemy. Soldiers who are wounded. And when asked, he said, it's out of love. I only saw people who needed me. I didn't see people who were allies or my compatriots or the enemy. The love of fellow beings and seeking to unite our soul with the divine through righteous actions. And that's the thread which I find in common through all this. And I think that would be the connection.
Now, we've spoken to Rupinder as a Sikh scholar, who has done intensive work on the Gurus. But now I'd like to speak to Rupinder the person.
That is the most interesting part.
What would you say of, as the Sufis put it, Ishq Majaz, love between a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman? Emotion is very deep and, most powerful emotion that plays between two people.
Definitely, it's the most transformative emotion you go through in life. Suddenly, the person who, for the person, becomes so much more than that. You look at yourself through that person, you desire, you want to be with that person, and everything they do charms you. I mean, it's absolutely the most powerful emotion that can make you do wonderful things, and at times bring out the silly in you.
How lovely. That's the cutest part of it.
Which is so necessary in life.
Which I've been observing, sorry. In Rupinder. The serious Rupinder suddenly, has turned into this vivacious young man. That's so beautiful lady. It's lovely. It's
So
lovely.
eloquent in love. And when it is said where love is gone, very often it is said. There was a famous adult novel called Where Love is Gone. Where do you think love goes and why does it go?
Love often falls victim of our expectations. Sometimes we simply trust love or what we think to be love, where the ground is not fertile, where it will not grow. Sometimes it's a very thin line, love and hate. And there are times when it crosses over and you really don't know, both sides don't know what happens. What happens to people who love each other so much? Suddenly they turn around and they're enemies. Nobody can hate you as much as somebody who loves you earlier. I wish I knew where it went, but it does go. Therefore, we have to cherish when it is there with us. Absolutely, we have to cherish.
Wonderful, intense. When it's love intense, then it begins. And there was a movie called The War of the Roses, I remember. And that's where they show that how crazy in love this couple is. And then they're just out to get each other. Oh my God. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So Rupinder's got a great analysis.
And now on to the Vishnu, my editor and a very seasoned journalist who has seen many, many turbulent seasons of, love lost, not between two people, but between two communities, between different forces and hatred rising. The Dalai Lama says, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. what would you say to it? Is love essential for survival of humanity?
Absolutely, my opinion. That is fundamental emotion. In fact, sometimes we have very abstract meaning of what love is. When Renee told me that her book is about love, I started googling about love.
I know when I invited him and I told Shilukuma, she says, he's a political journalist. What is this? I said, well, love is a common emotion. I'm sure he's going to come up with something.
Because of my nature of my job, I have been in big situations. But love is something which pops up in most words and circumstances. Like Rupinder just mentioned, that how people who love each other suddenly turn enemies. We look at the partition of India. Here are in one Punjabi, same culture, same ethnic stock. Overnight, they turn against each other. Millions of people after each other. But somewhere that yearning for love is survived. I remember on 50th year of independence, 1997, I happened to meet Pakistani singer Reshma, who had heard her name. And so Reshma was in Chandigarh to, participate in some cultural function. So I happened to meet her, and sitting with her was a lady. So when we were talking, Reshma and me, so that lady was crying. So I asked Reshma, why is the lady crying? She said, well, she has come from Pakistan. On the face of it, she's a Muslim lady, but she was born in the sea. And in 1947, when the violence happened, she got separated from her family. Some of her family members were killed, but she survived, and she grew up as a Muslim. And but later on, she got to know that she's a Sikh girl, and she and her family members survived and came to India. So she was not getting visa for India. So I have made her part of my cultural group and managed to get visa for her. She is here for the love of her mother and brother, survived that violence. What a powerful kind of emotion. And I remember that set me thinking. Then Nupma did what I consider to be my career best story. We looked at the split families of the partition, where the families got separated, youngsters got separated. Half family turned Muslim in Pakistan, the other half family remained Hindu or Sikhs in this part of Punjab. And the upshot of that story was, and we contacted families on both sides. Upshot was that I happened to meet a lady near Chandigarh, 75-year-old lady, whose brother was 9-year-old in 1947 when he got separated. So he grew up as a Muslim in Pakistan, and that she had never met her brother, but she was getting letters from her brother, and so we thought that it was a very moving story of love and longing. So we brought together sister and brother at the Wagah border after 50 years.
How wonderful.
The moment just flowed, and his brother and sister meeting after 50 years, and so love survives in the worst of circumstances, and it's such a powerful, universal, fundamental, yet very fragile emotion. Is what I think.
For 50 years, and in recent time, 75 years later, we see the Darfur corridor.
Absolutely, yes.
And it's, meeting their relatives. And there is no time for grudges, I think. People the wounds seem to have healed. What would you say to that? This is love prevailing over the worst kind of tragedies that people on both sides of the border saw.
Yeah, this is basically triumph of love. After years of hatred and mutual animosity, hostility, which is mostly at the government level, but people to people, I find that emotions of love are still very strong on both sides. At people level, at so many places, whether I was in England or in US, you meet Pakistani, oh my God, you immediately strike a rapport. You are speaking the same language, you feel that, oh, you are the same people, one people, right? So I think that common bond is that love, that basic human feeling, which is hard to describe, but you can feel it.
In fact, there is competition. That Lahore is known for its hospitality.
Yeah.
So whenever there used to be a cricket match, Mohali should not lag behind. and I remember, some Pakistanis were passing through Sector 17, and a group went to them, a group of Sikh boys, and said, "Chalo ji, sade naal chalo, cha pilane hai ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ, chalo, coffee pine." वो कहते चाह ते ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਪੀਨੇ ਆ, ਕੁਝ ਹੋਰ ਪਿਲਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਦੱਸ। And this wonderful experience you shared with us about this connecting a family, after 50 years. As I remember, you were considered one of the, best reporters of the turbulent years of Punjab. As a young man, they would say, here's Vinayak, who has covered Punjab through its crisis, village to village. And even in those times, I think, in spite of all the distrust growing between the two communities, I'm sure there would be some experiences where you felt that there were people who could see through the politics of the situation. Is there any incident you remember?
Well, there are so many, and I was just 23-year-old when I went to Amritsar, which was, we used to call it terror capital of Punjab. There was so much bloodshed happening, and so initially, having seen so many killings, one tends to get desensitized. But love is like a fountain and it springs from nowhere. Even those days we came across stories of neighbors protecting neighbors, Hindu neighbors coming to aid of Sikh neighbors, Sikhs coming to help of their Hindu neighbors. So those were very moving stories. And I remember I ran a series when I was in officer for the Pion. Because at that time communal tension was palpable. But at the same time we all know that how Hindu Sikhs are, such a strong social bonding. So we ran a series about where those inter-communal marriages, husband is Sikh, wife is Hindu, wife is Sikh, husband is Sikh, so many commonplace stories. But the time was such, we thought that we should highlight this social reality, drive home oneness of this Punjabi ethnic kind of sentiment. So I guess again, we were so sick of reporting bloodshed. We were looking for these stories of hope, love, positivity, to send out a message to the people through our newspaper that, all is not lost, and that feeling of love, oneness, togetherness it still survives, it's still there, maybe beneath the surface.
I recall one story in those times. I think it will come back to your memory also. There was, select bus killings used to be done of one religion. And there was one Hindu who was saved because a Nihang embraced him and said, and he was saved. And people carried pictures of the Nihal. So, love comes and conquers the worst of situations.
That was lovely,
Very, very
Ramesh ji, to listen to your sensitivity of love. I mean, I think everybody views you as this political journalist, and it gives a very different kind of image. And suddenly we discover, and maybe even you discover, like you said, you have to Google it because you get so used to writing about, reporting things in a certain fashion and being more clinical and objective. But here you had to, कहते हैं ना, दिल को टटोलना पड़ गया. बहुत अच्छा था. Very nice.
Before I go to a barn and then finally to Renee, I want to put one or two questions. Since we were talking of partition and, a verse of Allama Iqbal comes to me, and it goes with the title of Renee's book, Beyond the Stars. सितारों के आगे जहाँ और अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान, क्या बात है, सितारों के आगे जहाँ और भी है अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी.
She would kindly translate for.
Yes. This was by the famous poet's poet, Allama Iqbal, who was considered one of the architects of Pakistan, along with Jinnah. So his poem was that many are the worlds beyond the stars. I was reminded of this with the title of his book. Many are the worlds beyond the stars. As of now, many are the tests that love us. So I would like to ask you about the hurdles and the tests that love faces.
When you have something as delicate as love, it faces tests at every stage. First, in being there, in blossoming, in finding reciprocation. There's so much of unrequited love. In finding a form in which it can be embraced by the other as well as your own self. Love is such a nebulous, beautiful, transcendental concept. And it is absolutely transformative because when it happens, you change. The world around you changes. Your ability to relate to the world comes forth in a different fashion from what it was just before that happened. It will never be the same again. I mean, and the challenges, oh my God, they are there at every stage. Whether it's the love between human beings, whether it's a more difficult kind of love, whether it's spirituality and love, the challenges bloom because somehow it's a fact of life, nobody wants love to bloom. So you have to keep on pushing, keep on finding various ways. And as far as individuals go, I think expressing love is probably the most important thing we need to do. And we need to reaffirm again and again. If there's any specific kind of challenge you want, that's another thing. But overall, I think that's the way love is. Full of challenges. But that's what makes it so worthwhile. What would love be without challenges?
So true. Ravindra's got a fabulous analysis of it. Because it goes from the spiritual, that's what I believe is. Goes from the spiritual into the human. And wonderful. Very nice.
Love probably is something that everyone wants. The most powerful emotion. But I have a little joke here. When I was young and I had a colleague in Sanjipur. So every now and then an affair gone wrong, I would be reading and saying, see, this happened, that happened. So Sanjeev pondered for a while. He said, Meeru, you should do things you are good at. You just keep writing. Not try to fall in love. So tell me, Vinayak, do you have to be good at love? What is
Very interesting question for you.
Yes, of course, one has to be good at love. It's reciprocal, and it never goes without a response. And I have seen even in worse situations the sentiment of love prevailing. I'm reminded of another very emotional story which I did, from Jammu and Kashmir. A young girl from Pakistan, she had a girl with the family. She jumped into the river, and river flowed into India. So she survives. She's captured by Indian army, put into the jail. Young Pakistani girl. In jail, she falls in love with the jail official. Becomes, pregnant, delivers a girl. Now, the Indian authorities want to send her back to Pakistan. You are not Indian, but you can't carry your husband because he's Indian. You can't carry your daughter because she was born in India. I remember I wrote a story about her conundrum, the human bonding for India to remain. Government of India granted special permission for her to stay back in India, granted citizenship,
Okay, that happens.
What a triumph of love, because such a moving story that, she can't be separate from her daughter. And so I have seen love kind of withstanding many challenges and yet prevailing.
Caroline, I'd like to come back to you for a bit. Can't let you go away so easily. Now that you have spent so much of time in India, and what would you say of our pattern of arranged marriages? Did it surprise you that marriage can happen like this, happen in the West? Between families deciding for the boy and the girl?
A good question. I would say no, it didn't surprise me because we have such a big diaspora in the UK. And my husband teaching at schools in the UK, he would find it quite a normal practice that in the summer the families would come back to India and start looking for the prospective wife or husband. So it wasn't a surprise. I'd come across it before, and actually I thought it was very similar to sometimes in the UK where non-Indian families, if you like, did the same sort of thing. They were being marriages of convenience, for hundreds of years around the world. And I don't think it's peculiar to India. I think it's been around, and I think it's interesting because so many marriages sadly end in divorce nowadays of people who started in love. So although there is a place for love and it's great when it works, there are marriages that maybe don't start people in love, but they're still successful marriages.
Yeah, very often, they after marriage they fall in love. It happens like that. So I'm very pleased to get this reply. Otherwise, normally it would be that marry someone you don't love.
And also, sorry if I could just add there, I was reading the other day about what they call the Stockholm syndrome, where someone is kidnapped and then falls in love with their yeah, exactly. And what kind of love is that, really? Is that just a love of necessity, a love because you need to survive, and so your hopes of survival pin on falling in love with your jailer? Is that a healthy sort of love? And, interesting questions there.
Okay. And now, who has worked on the book, the thing Ishq Nahi Aasan. आग का दरिया है so
कोई पेश का साथ नहीं।
कोई पेश का साथ नहीं होता। What has been your experience of working with Renee on this book? And
Don't say a word. I completely forbid it.
only the nice things.
He writes very well, and our team really worked very hard on this book. Yes, it took more than around 2 years.
You know, he actually brought the book to Dubai after printing it. I was there for a wedding. And he says, here's your book. And that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and we did a lot of covers, like a lot of changes in cover, text. So around I think 7 to 8 changes.
Oh,
of
come
cover
on.
also happened. But the thing is, I'm very happy with it because this book came to me in August 2021, and today we are launching it. I'm very relaxed today that finally this is, I think, my first book from Chandigarh. Now we have done around 42 books from here.
Wow.
So, yes, thank you.
I know.
Yeah.
He started with mine, but
I wanted to-
So that means some 41 books came in.
From his city.
That was the inspiration.
No, but it had to be perfect.
Yes, we worked very hard on every aspect. It was a love. It was really nice working on it, and the message which this book portrays is very important. Love is the need of our it is necessity. We were planning to launch it during Valentine's Day to having a good fit. Maybe we'll plan to promote it like that because
Next one.
hopefully because love is the need of the hour, and we need more and more people to talk about it now. In all things, spiritual, personal, be it in love is very important.
And I'm reminded of since we did talk about partition, we spoke about quoted Iqbal, and then I came to this. You see, there is a famous poem by Faiz Ahmad Faiz, which has been sung by many, including Noor Jahan, which was like a political manifesto. मुझसे पहली सी मोहब्बत मेरे महबूब का नाम. You know, it said that, my love, don't ask me to love you like, the way I loved you before. So, what is it in this poem that while it said that don't ask me for this love, yet it still works so well, it makes people weep and they just love it.
Love also evolves like human. It grows, and we need to grow on it, and I think we need to work on it. So, if I love someone, I have to work on it every day. To keep it intact, to keep it fluid. This poem is relevant because love for me can be different. My definition of life and love is different, and your can be different. Your perspective on it can be different. इश्क के काफी सारे नज़ारे हैं, काफी रात हैं. There are many colors of love, and it can transform you in multiple. One has to just see and walk the path which suits yours. It can be very tough.
Yes, ये इश्क नहीं आसान. And now to the star of Beyond the Stars, Renee Singh, a dear friend to many of us. Renee, first we want to listen to a few poems, and then we cross-question.
I realized that to my left and to my right, everybody kind of took their seats. Okay, now what is she going to say?
First, let's hear.
Yeah, maybe one or two. I think everybody must be kind of pretty done with love for the moment.
Can we ever be?
No, I don't think so. What I love is that, I think this brought out, everybody knows all these people from from whatever they do, their career paths, but I'm sure the audience is the first time has actually experienced their inner hearts. And I'm very happy that I could actually give them the platform where they could be themselves. With me, the thing is, this is an event I've just done to make myself happy. Afan has been badgering me about when are you releasing the book. I said, when the time comes, when the divine moment comes, I always believe everything is divine timing. So, and surprisingly, Rupinder, who's always out of South Caroline, everybody, all these people, whenever I call up, out of town, Renee, can't come for dinner, can't come for this. I called with Caroline, I made a date. Then I kind of called up Rupinder. So I was amazed when he said, yeah, I'm there on the 28th. Then I called Ramesh and he said, yeah, I'm there. I said, oh my God, God wants it. He wants us to be together. So I believe that only those people come together to work on a message who are traveling the same vibration. And when the divine decides that we're supposed to send out a message to the universe, that's the only time we do. So I believe also that I decided to call, it's not that I'm being not so kind to everybody, but what I feel is I just went into my intuition and decided to only have those people who love me from the heart and who understand love on a universal perspective. So all these people, thank you so much. They're only the ones who have connected on a very high level of vibration, because I believe love is the highest vibration. And whoever is here to experience a level of joy, happiness and bliss for which we are really truly created. And this event is not really only the launch of a book. This is the coming together of everyone to reach out on a global level to spread the message of love. Because if you notice, we're all traveling towards, we're all getting into the golden age. I don't know if everybody believes in that, but that is the truth. And I believe very strongly in it. And I've had this, maybe it's a psychic thing, maybe I shouldn't talk about it, but I remember Rupinder was there for my first book launch, and I've been writing poetry ever since I remember. Maybe I was 3 or 4, and most of the stuff I wrote I never understood because it just came in a flow to me. And that first book I launched was a poetry book, and I said, they call it Sufi, all my poetry they call it Sufi. I never even understood what Sufi was at that point, and I was almost embarrassed about bringing it out to the world because I thought, people are going to think I'm weird. Who talks about things like this? And that was 20 years ago when people were still traveling through that phase, which they've been for years and centuries. But I think COVID, the advent of the golden era, which has been 2.5 according to me, about 2 years ago, when COVID came in, that's when people had to sit inside their rooms, sit with each other, with their loved ones. They didn't have a choice. They were just forced to do it. And that's when they realized what love is. Maybe they weren't even aware of it, that they were realizing it, or they were connecting within themselves. But that's what made them actually, I would say, align with it. And also like here, like Rupinder was talking about, I really wanted his perspective because he's written about Guru Nanak and his whole family legacy is the Sikh thought. It's not because I'm born a Sikh, but I do believe in the phrase which says Raj Karega Khalsa, which means the pure shall rule. The pure of the heart and the pure is the divine, and we are all the divine. So, and this book was written years ago, the poetry off and on. And I feel that each book comes out for its time, when it's required by the universe for the people to connect to that thought, and that's when the book sees the light of the day. So, Afan, you can't blame me. That I know, it's not his fault. He printed it, published it, brought it all the way to Dubai. I was like, oh my God. I haven't seen anyone being so fervently committed to the cause of publishing and poetry. Not many publishers pick up on poetry because it doesn't really make you money. You better have passion for it. Only then you do it. So आपको बहुत सलाम दिल से कि आपने इतनी मतलब you've done it. It's a work from the heart. And अच्छा थोड़ी पोएट्री पढ़ देते हैं. वैसे I always need to talk about this. It's the need of the soul that everybody in the world should connect over love. I mean, love is the ultimate emotion because even before a child is born, in the womb, that's why they used to say earlier the mother should only see achhi photo, they should only do happy things. So that, I never understood at that point why they were talking about it. But you see, that's the vibration is all going inside to the mother. So if you're always talking or being in an environment of love, then that soul, then that child, when he hits the planet, he hits it with love. That's the vibration he carries and carries it throughout. So I feel that love is what makes the world move. And why I call it Beyond the Stars is because we are the God force. We have to realize religion is a way to reach that. And love is the ultimate force in the universe. And love is the highest vibration. Somebody has to bring this out to the world to make them connect. And I think the divine decided it. That, when I wrote this book, when I put these poems together, they were again, I thought, sab kahenge, Sufi hai, ye hai. When Afan gave me the design and he gave me the cover, it had these two youngsters and all the poems inside, all the sketches were made about the love between a man and a woman. So I feel that it's very important for that generation to understand what love is, because I think the machine age or whatever we're getting into is driving us so far from it. Everybody's connecting more with a mechanical concept than with love. There is no time for love. They think it's a waste of time. It's not going to make us progress in any way in a career or anywhere as such. But I think, I wish they only realized that when they are comfortable in that space within, when they have that feeling of love within, that's when they will be actually accessing the highest potential. Because our brains are wired like that. If only we understood. Of course, it is happening slowly in the universe. And I was so happy when these two youngsters who came to work with me said, could we read some poetry? I said, sure. And they read it so beautifully and with emotion. I loved it. Thank you so much. And I don't know if I should read it or I could read it with that feeling which they've read it. So, okay, I will read one of them. I better decide what I want to read. I haven't marked out anything I want to read, so I'll just pick up randomly. For me, they're all beautiful. Okay, I'll pick the first one. I don't know, I must have put it number 1 for some reason. It says mystical love. Innate happiness, knowing you're sensing the delight within my being. Each time, looking at a flower, engulfing me with its emanating fragrance. I hear the birds make music in the trees at daybreak. The little drops of dew, glistening like diamonds, catching the rays of the morning sun and shining transparently upon the green blades of grass, reminding me of you. Deep breaths into the freshness of the morning air. And what an exhilarating experience, breathing into your fragrance along with the spring and to touch your very essence when I do breathe. I believe that when you love somebody, it's a part of nature, because all of us are a part of nature and the universe. So I think most of my poetry, like I said, it came from I don't know where, because I'm not one of those poets who can actually recite what they wrote because I really don't remember what I wrote. And it just comes and I write, and after that it's gone into the universe. So I'll just pick up something else. Okay, this is called Kindred Spirit. In all my wanderings, in my search for truth, I found myself squandering years of my youth. It was a distinct journey on a frolicsome path, and many times I wondered, did I ever incur the wrath of many a folk around me? But then, narrowly confined for social limitations, how could I ever find the truth? I lived along, wandering for many a time, floundering in the follies of youth. Must have written this when I was very young, because everything seemed like a folly. Elation. Have you ever felt this leaping, unbounded, joyous sensation emanating from deep within you? Of course you have, and I know you have, because that is just what my being responds to when I'm with you. Even when I'm physically not with you, your live wire sense of being keeps the current just flowing constantly through me. Okay, one more. No, never ask a poet to get started because they never want to stop. So I don't want to get into that one. Okay, Breathless Days. I'm just reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are really, I wish I'd taken a look. Anyway, Breathless Days says, reeling under a stormy emotional feeling. The thought of your warm body nestled against my very skin sends a zillion sensations deep down within. And then all I can think of is what I can't say. It's all so rapturous in the most wondrous way. I wish you were with me in your own flesh and blood, and then I wouldn't take this pen to jot down upon until dusk. I would just lie close to you, cocooned in your arms, and live every moment through, and the world would seem so charming. I would touch the magic moments too, and then let them fly away, because every moment from therein would get born again in this way. And so just every breath I take would be a miracle in its own very special way. Couldn't this be a way to live today, each day, and then again, just the after day, every day? I think I'll give up now because
Thank you so much. Written very soulfully, very nice.
Thank you.
And thank you to the panelists for giving us such insights into love. And our
Thank you for
friends.
making us.
Yes, that's why I told you. She was saying, what am I supposed to do? I mean, what is my role? I said, I know you, you don't need anything. So, you don't need to be told what to do, just be yourself. So she can be like any kind of person, she brings out the best in them. That's her special quality.
And any questions from the poet and other panelists, from our friends who have patiently listened to love stories of all kinds?
My definition of love is expression by any beautiful mind. You see, this is what I feel. And any expression by a beautiful mind becomes love. And it could be anything, as you said. At this age, I don't think I know so much about love as you would know. You would know better than me.
It has nothing to
It is
do
over.
with, I
All right.
at the university now, I was one of the university where we have all the best philosophers and scientists coming to talk. But they don't talk only about love. But I always say, age is a number, And the guy, Dr. Paul Joan, who heads the university, it's his baby. Every time I meet him every few years, he has a wife who's younger and younger. So now that he's much over 70, the latest one I think is in her 20s. And each time it's a new one. And each time he's intensely in love.
Really, now that you started it, let me share something with you. I feel the situation today in the world is exactly the same what it was when in 1469 Guru Nanak came on the scene. And he brought the concept of oneness and universal brotherhood. Now, I suppose we need love, actually, more than food, which our number in any case.
Absolutely.
So we need love. And things like this, poets like you are extremely, I think, poet of very exceptional sensibilities. And you written such a beautiful book. I think it is a contribution to this society. You should keep writing and more power to your pen.
Thank you so much. Comes from the divine. When he decides you're supposed to write, you write. I never know what I write. And one thing I would like to say that I don't know how this book got designed for the younger, thanks to a fan. And I remember when I started writing that column called Write to Renee, which was I think more than 25 years ago in the Tribune. And it was one of those agony aunt columns where the children would kind of tell you that okay, I'm in love with so and so, what do I do and all that. And I used to love it. I used to love doing it because when I was in college, that was the favorite column with us. So, but I had already got this very spiritual idea of love. I was always like, everybody would say, oh, we don't want to hear this intellectual drama. Just tell us grounded stuff, the here and now. That was my friends. But when these children would write to me, I would give them an answer which had a slightly spiritual twist to it, so that they would understand that if they pray, they'll get the guy they want, if they kind of connect with the divine. And amazingly, it became so popular, that Write to Renee, that every time they would invite me as a counselor or to be a guest, chief guest or whatever kind of guest at these college school functions, all these children would kind of come flocking to me. And I still remember one girl, I was in the British Library and I was doing some kind of a lecture on I don't know what. And she was actually trembling. She says, ma'am, can I just touch you? So, I was like, oh my God, am I creating that kind of a feeling? So what I feel is that love is so powerful that even at that young age, that's what's the driving force. So if at that age we know where to focus with that force, so I think we are the greatest asset to the planet. And in fact, the young man who read the poetry, Taj, I gave him the book last night. I said, the book had just come. I said, you better take it if you want to read it. And we were having a Zoom meeting, and I could see that he was trying to hide his smiles all the time. So I said, why is this happening? He said, ma'am, actually a lot of my friends have told me they love the poetry and they love the book. So I'm very happy that kids of that generation are connecting. And they are the ones who are the future of the planet. If the future of the planet moves out with love, that's what we need. As Ramesh told us those beautiful stories, on the partition and his concept of love, and how they responded to it and how they facilitated those people who bonded through the partition. I think, Guru Nanak's concept of love, now we can't carry on too much on this, but the most beautiful. So, I think we have to just keep the energy flowing. Everything is energy, we all know that. And if the love energy remains around and remains in our awareness and consciousness, I think we are an asset to the planet and come here to change things for the better and better and better. So everything is beyond the stars, and love is beyond the stars. Beyond human conception, the universe, we always, in the Gurbani, they say, Lakh Akas Akas, meaning there are many universes. And we are actually a part of one universe in which we are one planet, one tiny little speck, and we are thinking that we are controlling the world. I remember I was in NASA and I was actually had the opportunity and the blessing to talk to one of the astronauts who actually been up on the moon. And what he said was, he says, you know, when I was there and when I looked down at the earth, it was just like a grain of sand. And he says, I thought, oh my God, we have these fights over this and that, over land and property and issues. What are we all about? I mean, we are creatures on a grain of sand. And I mean, if we know how to just love, I think that's what life is. So, I mean, we are actually existing beyond the stars. And if we come out with love, we connect with everyone. So that's my message.
Beautiful, really. And now
Thank you, Renee, for bringing out this lovely book and for starting this discussion on love so that it spreads all around. And I thank all the panelists and ma'am, a special gratitude to Rupama ma'am for conducting the discussion so lovely and bringing out so many aspects of Ramya for. Thank you all very much.
Oh, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I forgot to say one fabulous thing for Caroline. I mean, for a diplomat, I mean, everybody has been so special. But for a diplomat who's supposed to be grounded and who's supposed to only talk about, well, the proper kind of things, it's been wonderful. And I mean, it's a special favor she's done to me and to everybody else. So thank you so much for being yourself and for all the love.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you everyone, each one, Vinayji, Rubendraji, and Afan, of course, and Nirupama who brought out the best, and me.
And many congratulations on the unveiling of the new book. And many more should be coming forward too. And a big thank you to all our audience as well for being present here today. Please join us for high tea. As Chima said, love and food go together. So you need food for the soul and food for your tongue as well. So, and a reminder, the book is available to all of you to buy today, and the poetess is also available for the book signing.
And this book, by the way, is the forerunner of my entire journey, which is going to be unfurling in front of you over the years. So this book is going to be carried out. It's going to go to London, it's going to go to Dubai, New York, where we're going to have similar events. And people over there who are connected on that love zone are going to come and speak. So this is the beginning of that journey. So this is very special to me. And all the people who are here are very special to me. So I only have those people who have connected on that frequency of love and who are here and who are going to move out changing the life. Thank you very much.
On that note, I want to remind you all that the love that you filled in, please keep that in hand. We'll be asking you for the camera bites. Thank you so much and see you for IB there. Join us there.
editor of Hindustan Times. It's been and a friend. I mean, being an editor or having your whatever your worldly talents are is a different thing. But here you are in the capacity of a friend, and also we have opened a discussion to love. What I loved is actually that despite the fact that your career has been on a more political level, but the way you brought out everything about love, I mean, I think everybody here discovered the real person in you, because otherwise we all have our masks, we all are doing things which the world expects us to do. But here, it was like unmasking yourself, and I loved it, I think. And what did you feel about it? What did you feel about the experience of being on this panel?
First of all, congratulations to you,
Thank you
for
so
your wonderful book. I have known you as a multi-faceted personality. I mean, I have grown up reading your column,
Yes,
right? And we have met at so many social gatherings. But this aspect of your personality, the finer aspect, like the very elevated aspect of your personality, writing, poetry of love, about love, Because love is a common denominator in every situation of human life, right? Whether you said, whether I'm a political journalist, or whatever you do in life, love just can't be wished away, And thank you so much for making me feel real, right? Yeah. This is one kind of session where I came without any preparation, absolutely relaxed.
Yeah, so
that
lovely.
That I'm going to a function of a friend where maybe I will get to know something new, different, and
we hadn't discussed anything.
Exactly, and be able to express my that unalloyed real feeling. And you made me say or share my random thoughts, which pretty well connected with the theme of your book, So I absolutely delighted to be here.
Thank you so much.
You conducted the whole session so well, and more power to you, pen.
Thank you very much.
All the best to me.
Hey, we forgot to give their gifts, yaar.
Please share with us.
See, you gave this blurb to be filled, eh? So I put it before the program started. And I have said, of course, I'm a little philosophical because it's beyond the stars. So to see the one in everybody, okay? And follow Guru Nanak's message, what was being repeated there. If you want to play the game of love, put your head on the palm of your hand. And more importantly, and once having done so, be ready to sacrifice your all for it. So that was what was there. This is what Nirupama said. But the next line of that is, It marg pair tarije, sir dije, kaan na kije. Which means once you've decided to do that, to play the game of love, then be ready to sacrifice your all for it. So love is that, because where there is love, there can be no hatred, there can be no jealousy, no nothing. So I think it's a great concept of what she's brought out, and I wish this all success. Thank you.
Love is the universal manifestation. We all are in a way a manifestation of universal love. But between any relationship between two human beings, according to me, regard, respect for each other's choices, giving freedom to each other, and loyalty come what may. These are my parameters for a good love between any two people in any relationship, maybe friendship, maybe husband, wife, maybe boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. Thank you.
So I'll share it with you. So basically what I say always is the biggest loss of life is life itself, right? That's one. So why I say this, what I've written is love is life, right? If love is life, that means the biggest loss of life is when love goes out, right? So life without love is nothing. That's my idea of love.
Well, I want to congratulate my beautiful friend Renee on this She's very versatile, writes on so many topics, and this book I haven't gone through, but I'm guessing it's on love, all the poems. And the title is very inspiring, Beyond the Stars. So what I've written is something like that only, that love is like the stars can't be counted. And even if you, with the most powerful telescope, you try to see the stars, you still can't see them all and you can't count them. And this power of love is gone even beyond that. So inspired by that, I have written a few lines. Love is the ultimate magnifying glass that makes our emotions tenfold, thousandfold strong. That's why to put it within the bounds of words is a difficult task. That's what I have to say about it.
I think the idea of love is to be true to your own make and make best use of your life, so that when you're full cup overflowing, you can share it with others also. So stay in love with yourself first.
I think everyone is in love with love. You know, it's such a, as they call it, the splendid thing. And speaking at Renee's book launch, it became, you know, the way people opened up and shared stories of love. So I'll just give you a line from a poem by Amrita Pritam. She says, just because a drop of your love was blended in, I drank the entire bitterness of love, of life. You know, so one drop of love makes all the difference.
According to me, love is there in everything in the universe, in the creation of the universe, and whether it is plants, it is nature, it is human beings, everything is all about love. So it's all about love, and you have to live in love and give love and take love.
So my idea of love is this, that I'm always in love with the idea of love. So I'm always in the love.
Well, I'm going to answer that by saying, when in doubt, choose love. Thank you.
So my idea of love, there's a few ideas on love. So very simple. When you care for someone more than even yourself, that is love. When you empathize with the little and the weak ones, that is love. When you deeply enjoy life and nature, that is love. When God created you and your reality, that was love. Each and every form of creation is a manifestation of love. Can I say any more than that? Thank you.
Love is a feeling, being selfless, and it is the need of everyone.
It's been absolutely wonderful to have you here, Caroline.
It's been wonderful to be here. Thank you, Renee.
And I just want to know, I mean, of course, it's been fabulous that everybody on the panel came out from their heart, because love is a topic that everybody enjoys. And it's what I loved was everyone could unmask themselves, and so did you. Everybody's used to this diplomat and this very, very proper person. Suddenly you were like the baby. So it's like you were being you were so into it with the music, and you know, I completely loved it. I could identify with everything. And what I love is your spirit, that you know, like even my photographer was saying, oh, you know, I said, look, she's my friend. Forget the fact, in this room, everybody's a friend. They are not, you know, you leave your persona, your identity on the planet behind, and just walk in as a person. And what I love about you, Caroline, is that you can do it.
Well, thank you. That's very flattering. I mean, I take my inspiration from you. I think.
Oh my God! Thank you.
No, but I mean, I think you plunge in beyond the stars. I think it's a really exciting project, and so, you know, I felt quite honoured when you asked me to come along to this. As you say, it's completely beyond my range and scope. It's not something, but there's no reason not to get involved. And like you said, you leave everything at the door, and you just come in, and we're just people talking about love.
Yes.
And what's wrong with that?
No, that's beautiful, and it's beautiful that you have the capacity to be on that frequency and the vibe and understand it. Because all the people I had decided to call were supposed to be people who would just connect on that frequency. And you're the first one who came on. I mean, honestly. So everyone in this room, whoever came, was attracted by that vibe. And I just didn't call anyone who would be judgmental, who would be thinking or, talking for a fact. So it was lovely. You were the first person talking, and you've done a lot of homework. I'm so glad I gave you the book so last minute, and you had such a thorough kind of, you must have spent hours on.
Well, I did read every single poem.
Oh my God! That's so flattering. That's so lovely. That's beautiful. I'm honored. Really. I don't think anyone on the panel, I know most of 2 or 3, but I haven't been asking. But this is wonderful. And I love the songs you associated with it. And like, as you said, I know that much about you, out of my instinct and my perception, that you're a thorough person. You really and I see you with the dogs. Oh my God, that's called love.
Don't tell my husband.
No, I know, there's heavy competition. So thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
No, likewise. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Renee. And I wish you every success with the book.
Thank you.
Both here and overseas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Shake hands.
Yes.
And every time we've met, it's just been a couple of times, and it's been a wonderful experience to know you and to know that you could actually leave your country and come and be so much a part of India, because India is a difficult country. You either hate it or love it. Everybody can't be a part of it. So you've got to gel with the vibe, you've got to gel with the culture. So how do you feel about that? I know you're a tennis coach, and it's a decision. It's a great decision you must have made to come to live here.
Well, first of all, Renee, it's been a pleasure meeting you. The few times we spoke have been very interesting and very fascinating. I have to say, to be honest now, that you are a very interesting lady.
Thank you.
From every area of culture and sensitivity and spirituality. It's been a great pleasure, interacting and talking to you. So what concerns my coming to India, actually, funnily enough, it's been quite easy. I think India, to be honest, is probably the most easygoing country that I've ever visited, and I've been all over the world, pretty much, to every place. People here, are extremely receptive. There's no judgment in the beginning. You don't come here, you're not judged because you are different, or you have a different religion, or you have a different view of the world or something. You integrate. If you want to integrate, you're very welcome to integrate. So it's been a very easy acceptance, for me to be here. I feel at home immediately.
Wonderful.
Professionally, I've been very welcomed. I'm managing CLTA, and I've got my own pioneer sort of tennis academy that I want to develop into a bigger project. However, it's already running in CLTA for a year, and I've been very welcomed. And people in general are wonderful. No wonder, India is the spiritual capital of the world, because this is what Indian stands for.
Wonderful.
So I'm very happy to be here.
Wonderful. So what do you feel about love?
What do I feel about love? I think
you have a beautiful wife and you have a beautiful relationship.
Yes,
that I know. You've been very blessed.
Yes, I think love. Well, for me, love starts before we exist and goes far beyond our physical existence in this world. Because, I believe any form of creation. I actually wrote it here. I was inspired by your conversation up there. But for me, any form of creation is a representation of love. Because if you see, when you feel more in love, if you're in love with somebody else, which is the most common form of love that you experience in life, that's when we are more inspired, to compose, to write. Even somebody that never had the tendency to write poetry. If you're madly in love with somebody,
Yes.
that might be the moment where you write something down.
Fabulous.
Or
Yes,
you know,
so
the
true.
best melodies, the best books, the best scripts, the best poems, probably came out of a passion, out of love, out of that sort of mood.
Absolutely.
So that for me, it's the biggest inspiration. It starts before we are born. We are created by love, with love. Every form of creation comes with that.
Perfect.
So
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
and you are an
much-
inspiration.
Thank you, thank you. Much
Thank you very much.
love and much success to you.
Thank you very much, Renee.
And thank you
And
for bringing yourself here and training the children.
listen, thank you for having me here. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
You're
huh?
welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Renee, we had this lovely launch of your book, Beyond the Stars. And it is truly so nice that you opened a discussion on love. You're spreading this message all over the world, and especially taking it on to the newer generation. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I feel fabulous because I feel this is a mission and I feel I was born for this. And I feel that, as I said earlier, that it is the youth that carries the transition on the planet. And if it's the youth that is focused on love, I mean, they don't have to be focused, but they have to learn to live in love. And if they learn that, that is what they are going to emanate, and that's what is going to resound in the universe.
So that means that it will help us solve all the problems that we are facing in the world.
Absolutely.
You love yourself, you love your neighbor, you love the world, you love the
Just
nature.
love. You have to
Yeah,
breathe
nature.
love. You don't have to be conscious of it. And that's what I want to create, that awareness.
Yeah, keep your heart open to love, let it come to you, and spread it as much as you can.
Absolutely.
Right? Lovely,
Thanks.
lovely.